I don't care to admit this too much, but I actually, you know me, I'm like really cognizant of how much time I spend on things. Like I try to like really be efficient with my time, but I actually have one thing that I've like wasted a lot of time on, and I don't like to talk about it or admit it too much, but I've spent countless hours trying to figure out what exactly is going on in the body shop. Yeah. Sam Smith and Kim Petras, like, they've ruined my life.
What are you talking about?
I really, really need to know what the heck is going on in the body shop.
What are you talking about?
Just, like, they won't say it. All right, here it is. Here it is. Mommy don't know daddy's getting hot.
Welcome back to the show. There's no telling where we'll go. So come and share a laugh on the Imp and Skizz podcast.
All right, Skizz, so I'm going to start this one off by reading a little something I wrote down here. Actually, something I pulled off the internet regarding music, because that's what we're going to be talking about today. So it says, music is recognized for its unique power over individuals' physical, mental, and emotional health. Several research studies have revealed that music is an excellent way to unite people and create a sense of social connectedness. Music can also help regulate oxytocin, serotonin, cortisol, and dopamine. And that's all done through powerful quotes. And that's what we wanted to talk about today. Quotes, lyrics, quotes from songs, things like that, and how it connects to us emotionally, and all the different things that it can, all the journeys that a song can take us on.
I like it. Okay, that's interesting. So that that passage you were just reading started off talking about sort of the power of music, which have we done a podcast on music? No, we did movies.
We did one, movies, where we just like talked about our favorite scenes from movies and stuff.
Right. And so to me, we're talking lyrics today, which is good because lyrics is very poetry centric, right? That's what lyrics are.
Yeah, it's like, when it comes to like songs and lyrics, it's poetry that relates with melody, right?
Correct. Yeah, to rhythm and melody, and so music to me, I think that passage was great, but that to me until the end when they talked about the quotes or whatever, I couldn't agree more. It was beautiful. It's like that's what music is. I want to do a podcast on music now. Like we got to put this on the list because all those different emotions you can experience without any words. You know what I mean? There's plenty of music out there. You can really take people on a journey and a sense of connectedness with no words at all. And that's what's interesting to me is that, I mean, look at the nature of dancing. It's everybody moving at the same cadence, except for the people that have no rhythm and just, and kind of, feeling the music and it moving them. I mean, you look at something like a mosh pit. It's kind of like, it seems like madness, and it is, but it's also an agreement that everybody made. So that's different. That's music. We're talking lyrics today. And I like that. That was a beautiful way to get into it because the end of it also talks about like the quotes that unite us as well.
Yeah, I think as we talk through the lyrics is the reason why we pulled the lyrics that we do. Like that certain lyrics stick with us. And as I kind of like started to think about different songs that really resonated with me personally, it was because they would make me feel something. Yeah. And that's what, music in general does, but like the power of the poetry
of the words themselves.
Yeah.
And you know what? And I don't think that that's necessarily true for everybody. So let's see. I love lyrics a lot and I like to memorize them. I like to sing along with it. I like poetry. I like really good lines. And I remember I was pointing out like the cleverness in a couple lines of some song years ago to my brother or something. And he was like, how do you have this memorized? I'm like, how do you not? This is a huge song. This is a really good, it's poetry. And he goes, I never, ever listen to the words. And I've heard many people say that. And that's fine. It's
I'm kind of one of those people. It takes something special for me to actually pay attention to the words.
Yeah. Yeah. And for me, like for the most part, because as a kid, I used to write a lot of poetry. I was really into that. I just loved it. I just loved writing poetry. I liked the feel of it. I remember as a kid getting introduced to Edgar Allan Poe and reading The Raven over and over and over and being like, dude, I don't think people realize, and also being a drummer, reading The Raven, if you read that correctly, you can feel the rhythm in it. You can feel like you're sitting at a drum set, just laying down a groove. You know what I mean? And it's like, it's that well done. So you transfer that. or you translate that rather to actual music lyrics, and now it's a whole new ball game because there actually is a groove, there actually is music going on. So it's very special. All right, let's get in.
All right.
You want to start, or you want me to start?
Yeah, you start. I think because of how you and I relate differently to music as far as lyrics are concerned, you're probably going to be have a lot more examples of this. I mean,
I don't know about that.
Just because we might as well just go ahead and admit this. You know, I'm actually really bad at lyrics because even my favorite band, Dave Matthews,
bro, that's normal. That's normal.
No, so you know how people can hear things differently. Yeah. I had it in my mind that Dave was saying each dream can be man-made.
Yeah.
For tomorrow we'll die or whatever. And forever I thought, man, that is like the best lyric. Each dream can be man-made. How inspiring. How inspiring is that? That if you have a dream, you also have the power to make your dream come true as a man. And wow. Wow. It's just
so powerful.
Such great words.
It's so deep.
Every time I listen to it, I was super inspired to follow my dreams and make them happen. And then I come to find out he was actually saying, eat, drink, and be merry.
Like, well,
and to this day, I'm going to argue this. My way was better. My lyrics are better. Okay.
Yeah, but
it was much more inspirational than just, hey, you can just eat, drink, be merry, whatever. Do what you want to do.
You know what context clues are, right? So he's saying, eat, drink, and be merry, because tomorrow you could die. It's tomorrow.
Yeah,
but
enjoy the
you
moment.
thought he was saying, each dream can be man-made, because you're dead tomorrow. So, like that's what
make your dreams come true before you die.
Okay, fair enough.
That's,
Yeah. So I've done this. So there's another one, excuse me, while I kiss the sky.
Yeah, it was Prince, right?
Shut up. And everybody thought that there was, excuse me while I kiss this guy, right?
Yeah.
Like, which sounds ridiculous, but not really. You know what I mean? Is it that ridiculous to just love your neighbor? You know what I mean? And I'm not saying, I'm saying like wrap my arm. Like I've hugged you so much after not seeing you for a while, and you hate the hugs, and then I'll give you a kiss on your cheek. You'll stop it. You know what I mean? But that's what that energy was in regards to. I didn't think that that's what the lyrics was, but when other people did, it made sense to me why they might think that.
For the longest time, I couldn't understand why Elton John was singing about Tony Danza. Hold me closer, Tony Danza.
That's Phoebe, dude. That's Phoebe from Friends. All right, I'm gonna get started here. So let's see. There's a couple different. Let's see. I'm gonna start with this one. This is kind of a nice light one. There's a couple I sort of want to save. This one is so. The energy from this, I just enjoy it because it just takes you on this journey of overwhelming apathy. And so this is from John Popper and Blues Travelers, right? And this is from the song, But Anyway. And here's the lyrics. It says, I'm quitting cigarette smoking. It's bad for me. But anyway, I don't think the TV was joking when it told me this. But anyway, like he keeps finishing it. But anyway, right? Because he's like, well, anyways, like who cares? Moving on. I don't think the TV was joking when it told me this. But anyway. The newsman said not to sit on strange toilet seats. It's my life he's trying to save. But anyway, I just found out I have eye cancer. Too many television waves. And so I'm just like, he brought you on this journey of, I'm trying to care. And then even in my effort to try to care, that burned me. So why? Who cares? Like that, like he's just have this like such lackadaisical approach to what it is to live. It's not a negative thing to me. I think it's literally his way of being like, it's all right. He has another song that's very similar called 100 Years. And it's quite literally like, it won't mean a thing in 100 years. So just stop stressing, man. Yeah. Like that's the vibe I get from it. Right. And so the lyrics one, that's why one of my favorite lyrics, how he goes on this whole journey of, I'm trying to quit cigarette smoking. TV told me it's bad. TV said, don't do this. TV said, don't do this. And then TV gave me eye cancer. You know what I mean? So you just can't win. So why am I trying so hard?
Yeah, that's really good.
Yeah.
That's really good. I got one. So I try, you know what I tried to do when I wrote down a couple lyrics that stuck with me. I tried to actually stay away from like the obvious ones, like my favorite bands. I don't know why.
That's good.
But
that's
like
good.
Dave Matthews and Tool, like there's so many good examples that we could pull because they're both I mean, Tool will get your head spinning if you really dig into a lot of the lyrics.
I left them alone. I only have one example.
Really?
I have one example,
So
but
I kind of assumed that you were going to come so loaded with Tool and Dave Matthews lyrics that I would let you have that.
I didn't touch Dave at all, and I left Tool alone except for one song.
Okay.
Because I was like, I'm going to turn this into a Tool podcast if I do that.
That's true.
Yeah. So I stayed away from it because there's a lot of different music.
It goes seriously deep, and that will get people's head spinning. So I kind of took a more, well, you'll see. Bon Jovi. Bon Jovi. It's
Bon Jovi.
It's My Life. I tried to keep it like more simple and just fun. So the lyric is, it's my life and it's now or never, because I ain't gonna live forever. I just want to live while I'm alive. It's my life.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason I picked this is because it's something that came up when you and I were recording one day. And I think it was our Skyblock experience, and you were kind of like messing around and we were playing like hardcore or something. So I was really like, Skizz, what are you doing? You're gonna die. And you're like, what did you say? You actually said something pretty powerful.
I said I'm living.
I'm living. Yeah. Because
and I said living is more than just staying alive. That's avoiding death.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And so that's why that's what this Bon Jovi's.
No, I said hold on. I want to get it right. I said living is more than avoiding death. That's just staying alive.
Yeah,
that's what I said, and that's what I mean. My point was like living's much more than just not dying.
Yeah,
that's just staying alive. That's what I was saying.
Yeah. And I think I had the same energy here as what Bon Jovi was saying, because I ain't gonna live forever, right? It's my life. It's now or never. So live in the moment, right? Because you never know when it's gonna be over.
Yeah.
And so live your life to the fullest is basically what I got out of that. And so like every time I hear that, I'm like, it's kind of cool because like all these like little catchy tunes, like it's my life. You just like singing, it's fun, it's party music or whatever. And then you sit down and you're like, wait a minute. Oh, that's actually pretty deep.
Yeah.
I wouldn't expect that from Bon Jovi.
Bon Jovi. I love Bon Jovi. All right.
I'm struggling with words today, man. Why did we choose today to pick 3 podcasts to record? I'm going to be an idiot in all of them.
I feel super. All right. So now I started with kind of a, not goofy, but a good one, like a good light, heartfelt one. I want to move on to, let's see, which one let's go a little, not dark, but this is one, I've talked about this one before on, I think, a stream. And the story I had told, this is going to be a fun little journey I'm going to take you on for a second here. Okay. So Dexter Holland, who's the singer of The Offspring, is, Offspring's one of my favorite bands of all time, right? It's obviously very nostalgic. It goes back to high school, and it's a great, great band. And when I saw them live for the first time, just a handful of years ago, I'm like, they still got it. Like, they're just so good. I love this band. And I really, really like Dexter Holland. I just think he's just got one of the coolest vibes you can have, right? Mm-hmm. So there's a song called Gone Away, and it's a very heavy one, right? Mm-hmm. And so you just kind of sing it and you just kind of feel it, and it feels like, heaven is so far away. And you're just kind of, and then one day I'm like, I'm going to pay attention to the lyrics this time. I want to learn this. So I read the lyrics, and I'm going to go through them in a second here, but I read the lyrics and I remember thinking, whoa, who's he talking about? So I did some research, and it was very cryptic. It's very cryptic in regards to who he was talking about, but it was sort of like a speculation thing that he was talking about an ex-girlfriend who died in a car wreck. Okay. And the song is very, very touching. Now I'm going to get through the whole thing here. I'm going to actually read the lyrics because there's more to this journey that actually continues last night when I was doing even more research. Oh, wow. Because the research I'm talking about, I just thought was like years ago I did this. Okay. And last night I found something that's going to rock your world. So it's really, 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 it's 4 lines and it's almost no words, but I'm going to tell you why I like it. He says, I reach to the sky and call out your name. And if I could trade, I would. That's all it is. Now, why do I like that so much? Because the simplicity of it is, it's like so few words. It is so it's structured so strong. There's like no fluidity in it, but it's like intentional. He doesn't come up with some clever way to say that he would take the place of them. He just says, I would. I don't need to make this pretty. I just want you to know if I could trade, I would. But the way he says the I would in the song itself, I wish we could play the clips right now without getting dinged, but it's so beautiful. It's so, so good, right? Well, when I was making notes last night for this podcast in regards to what songs I want to talk about, I thought, you know, I've told the story on stream before in regards to that it's about like a past girlfriend based on some research I've done. And there's a lot of like posts out there and a lot of speculation. But I was like, it's always wrong. I hate being wrong about stuff like this, especially in a public forum. So I'm going to dig even deeper. So I dug even deeper, and it turns out that that is not true. It is still something to where anytime he's been asked about this, he won't talk about it. But he was in an interview, and they were just like, so the song Gone Away. And this is an actual interview with Dexter Holland. Now, this also could be fake because it was just his voice, and maybe somebody sounds like him, and they faked this video. But I really don't. It was like, yeah, it's like
before or after.
Well, that's sort of the problem, is that now the entire world's so full of crap that I don't know what to believe anymore. But I was like, that's Dexter Holland's voice. And it's either him or it's somebody who sounds exactly like him and is an incredible actor, because he is just like this interviewer is kind of pounding him. Like, what is the song about? Is it about a girlfriend who died in a car wreck? And he goes, no. And he's like, do you have a girlfriend who died in a car wreck? He said, no. And he goes, it's not that. That song is not about anything like that. It's a song, man. And he goes, but was it inspired by something? Like the interviewer's he goes, we don't do songs like that. Like Offspring. It's like, we don't, we never did songs like that, but we wanted one that's a little slower, like a little darker. He goes, it was inspired by something. It was nothing as tragic as a car wreck. Okay, fine. I'm just going to tell the story. That's how it's so on this. So you could tell, the interviewer was like, no way I'm getting the story. And it really came down to him and his wife were at like a mall or a store or something. And somebody ran in saying, save us. We're being chased by a guy with a gun. And next thing they know, this guy came up and just started shooting up the joint, but nobody got hurt. Like they literally just fired, like shattered all the glass and just went off. It was like, he said it was like a gang. It was like a gang thing. They came in and lit the place up, and Dexter jumped on his wife, just expecting him about to get shot any second. And he never did. And nobody was. He said, I think that they were just jerks who were trying to scare us, the daylights out of us. And he said, but in that moment, I was like, I know what I'm going to write about. So he made up the whole song in regards to, can you imagine where I'd be had I lost her? So it was the whole thing was about like, he put himself there. And I think we've all done that. I think we've imagined horrible things to happen to our loved ones that never happened. Yeah. But we encapsulate what that energy would be so deeply that you feel it, and I think that's what I think the song was born out of that energy. So when he talks about that line, it's like, he doesn't have to go through that to offer that I would trade places. I just know I would, so I thought I liked it.
Wow. Yeah. That's pretty crazy. It's almost like, sometimes you ignorance is bliss. You almost would rather not know that it wasn't like the full thing. But I mean, I guess it's better.
It's better. It's better. And exactly right. I was like, wow, I told a lot of people on stream what this was, and I feel foolish now because I'm spreading false information. That's what I did. Unfortunately, it was based on the fact that millions of people were also under that impression. I was reading the same things they were, and I was just wrong. And I had to dig up this like interview that was, you know what I mean? I was like, geez, you gotta be kidding me. Yeah. All right, you go.
Okay. I wish I came more prepared.
Stop saying that.
Well, I'm going to actually, I just like wrote down like, hey, I remember this song had some good stuff, and now I'm going to look it up on the spot. But Eminem,
I got one too,
one of our favorites.
Oh, I got one too.
And I didn't pick a deep one, so I'll give you, I'm sure it's not the same one, but Lose Yourself.
Yeah.
That's
not mine.
Okay, no, good. No. And I'm just gonna keep the lyrics short here. But when he says, "You only get one shot, do not miss your chance to blow. This opportunity comes once in a lifetime."
Yeah.
That I think about that all the time. You like anytime something's coming up and I'm getting like maybe anxiety about it or whatever, and I'm thinking, oh, maybe I won't do it. Maybe I'll skip it. This opportunity or whatever, because it's just going to be too hard. It's going to be too much work. I've got too much anxiety about it, but it's an opportunity for something, if I just show up, if I put it in the work, if I do the thing or whatever. And then I think of that lyric by Eminem. It like comes to my mind all the time. And it's just like, you know what? This could be a once in a lifetime thing. This could be life changing. This is something that, it might be a little uncomfortable, might be a lot of work, might have to put in some blood, sweat, and tears to make it happen, but I may never get this chance again. I'm not going to let it pass me by.
Yeah.
And like, it's funny because like, that's the power of songs, right? Like you have these moments where you start to doubt whether or not you can do something. And there's always like something that you can turn to in the music realm to like, you put on the radio or you put on the you know, put it on and all of a sudden it's like, I can do this. Like that song and maybe beyond music too. Like some people have said that about some of our podcast topics, which is crazy. But yeah, that's what I turn to is like, I pull these little like weird like stitches of different songs to like get me through situations that I normally wouldn't otherwise get through. And that's one of the lyrics that comes to mind.
I like it a whole lot. I do. And I'm glad you did Eminem. And because I was looking into Lose Yourself, I'm like, I'm going to leave that one alone. And I think it's just because I don't know why I sing it so much in my life and I really, really like it. But the thing is with Eminem, his ability to execute double entendres and sometimes triple entendres. And there's a TikTok out there that just does the most fantastic job at unpacking. At one time he did a quadruple entendre, which is, I'm just going to say it, in the human mind, I didn't know it was possible, right? So a double entendre being you're saying one thing that's, it's overtly obvious what you're saying, but there's also a covert, a covertness meaning to it, to where it's like, dude, this could also, if you switch this up a little bit, this is like Rage Against the Machine. I don't have any rage on here, but Zach De La Rocha does that a lot too. And he talks about load the clip and fire at the prime time. He's talking about the media loading the clip and firing at prime time, but he's also talking about the violent act of loading a clip and firing. Like
it's kind of like a read between the lines type of thing, right?
It's a read between the lines, but it's also quite deliberately, it's a double meaning, right? It's not just implying something. It's you could you go left or right, dude, pick one, because they're saying both, you know, it's one of those things. So, so Eminem's very good at that, right? So, I kind of want, it's going to bring me into another band, another song that does a beautiful double entendre that I just like it so much. And it's a playful one. It's a fun one. This is Bare Naked Ladies. And it's like such a fun little line. Okay. So he says, somebody once asked if I could spare some change for gas. And then he becomes that person who's asking for the change for gas. Someone once asked, could I spare some change for gas? I need to get myself away from this place. I said, yep, what a concept. I could use a little fuel myself and we could all use a little change. Like, it's a good moment, right? Well, let's dissect that. I could use a little fuel myself, right? The guy's asking for change for gas. And he says, you know what? I could use a little fuel myself, as in I need motivation to keep going. I need motivation. I could use a little fuel myself. You know what? We could all use a little change. As in, not just the money. I'm going to switch things up.
Different I need version of the word change.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So that's your double entendre. So that, I remember as a kid when that came out, I was just like, dude, that's a really, really clever stanza. and I dug it. And then later, when I get into another one later, I'm going to go back to Eminem and do the one that I did, because it's a different world of a double entendre. Okay. So that's Bare Naked Ladies. So what I do? Don't pop. Okay. Now you go. If you want, I can go again if you want to think.
Yeah. So whenever I think about like poetry and song, I think one of the most beautiful like poetry songs there is What a Beautiful or a Wonderful, what's a beautiful world? What a Wonderful World by Louis Armstrong. Yeah, What a Wonderful World, right?
Yeah.
And the whole thing, every single verse is just it's poetry. I mean, like, songs are songs, but like when you listen to this song and you dig into the words, you can tell it is poetry to melody and rhythm, like you said. But the one I'll just pull one of the verses out. I hear babies cry, I watch them grow. They'll learn much more than I'll ever know. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Wow. That is so good.
That's huge.
That gives me chills. I hear babies cry, I watch them grow. They'll learn much more than I'll ever know. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. So to me, that's like, you always want the next generation to be better and smarter and do better than that. And that's what he's saying, is like, he's looking at these babies that are right now just crying, you know, because they're babies, and realizing what they're going to experience in their life is way more than he ever could.
Yeah.
Right. And that's us right now with our kids, and our kids are going to have the same experience. And it's just crazy, but like such a beautiful song.
Yeah. Well, especially because he says, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. He's broadcasting this baby is going to know more than I ever could even dream of. And that makes me we did it. The human race. Well done.
Yeah.
Like, that's what he's saying. Like, we did it. We set up we set up a culture and a process to where those who are coming after us are going to know more than we could ever dream. What a wonderful world. Like that's like that could be argued that whatever we could, that who cares? I'm not going to do it. I'm going to enjoy your moment here because I really, really, really like it.
Would Louis Armstrong still write those lyrics?
He might
today?
not write those lyrics today.
No, come on now.
Oh my God. I think to myself,
it is
what the hell is going on? That's what it would be today.
Oh God.
No. All right. That was good. I like that one, dude. I like that you went way back to Louis Armstrong.
Yeah, I tried. As I was thinking about stuff, I was, at first I thought, because like I've been doing a lot of 90s music listening. I just love the 90s genre. Like, I love the 90s era for music. I think it was one of the best decades for music. And there could be a huge debate, I'm sure, about which decade was the best decade for music. But 90s was my prime. You know what I mean? Like that was the age where I really started to discover music. Music became my life. I was constantly going to concerts and just like music takes me back. Like, so when I pop on like a 90s station on Spotify or whatever, I hear a song will come on and I will remember exactly where I was when I heard it live for the first time, or where I was the first time I heard it on the radio. And like music has a tendency to, for me, like kick in memories, kind of like smell can do for people and stuff. It's music for me. And so 90s music was like my biggest thing. And I tried to not just put down music from the 90s, even though I was like really drawn to that. And so I was like, I want to see if I can go back even further. And that's the song that came to mind when I kind of thought of like older songs.
I admire that. I like that you did that. That's cool. Save the music talk. We got to do a music podcast because you're absolutely right. Because you got me.
We can't talk about lyrics without talking about the impact of music in general.
But I mean, yeah, you're right. But music in general, that's its own topic, man. Like I remember where I was the first time I heard Papa Roach. Cut my life into pieces. I remember exactly where I was at. I could literally take you to the store and where I was standing and what I was doing and tell you about the time of day it was. Yeah. Because it was at Costco, we were closing up, and that song came on, and it was one of the rare occasions, super rare, where I've loved a song the very first moment I heard it. That's like never the case.
Ever, it usually takes a bit.
Yeah. And I was just like, I turned to this girl, I worked with them all. Are you listening to this? This is amazing. She's like, it is. And I just ran to the phone and I called the radio station because like, who is this band? This is back before, internet pretty much. And I should save it for the music podcast, but I ran to and I was just like, what is this band? And the guy's like, dude, we get a lot of people calling about this song, man. It's a brand new band called Papa Roach. I'm all, that name sucks. He's like, it's weird, right? I was like, but the song is awesome. He's like, I know, I love it. It's a total jam. And I thought it was just such a cool song. All right, let's move on.
All right.
So
we may get to the point where you're going to have to do multiple in a row since I am not as prepared as you.
That's fine. That's fine, man. Okay. So I did Bare Naked Lady. I actually didn't bring a whole lot, but I brought some good ones here. Okay. So you know what? I'm going to do it. I'm going to go to Eminem now.
Okay.
Okay. Now this song is called 25 to Life. And this is such an unbelievably clever song because where I was talking about a double entendre, did we just lose the center camera?
The center camera battery.
There it goes. Died. Bye, center camera. Bye.
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 Let's see if the dog show comes on the TV again.
Oh, bye. All right. So 25 to Life, this song, so there's double entendres, but then there's like a different version of it where the whole entire song is not a double entendre. The whole entire song is a metaphor. And it takes you on a journey that's so convincing that you think you're right there with Eminem. This is the thing about Marshall Mathers that I don't think he gets enough credit for. And I think he gets a lot of credit. And I don't think he gets enough. I don't think he gets enough credit for what a poet he is. Like he is so clever. He is supernatural with his understanding of not just rhythms and how to execute, rhythms in general and rhyming, but he's so creative with the words themselves. So the song is called 25 to Life. And the whole entire song, he's complaining about his wife or his ex-wife or ex-girlfriend or whatever in regards to, listen, I'm working here. You know what I mean? I'm trying to work and you get jealous because I got to go to work. He's just complaining the whole time. The whole song is about him just like, it's like a prison sentence being married to you. Like that's like what he's sort of saying, right? And some of the lyrics are, let's see. He says, "You don't think I'm loyal? All I do is rap." Like, yeah, all they do when I'm not here, I'm just rapping. That's it. Like, you don't think I'm loyal? Like, I'm not out with another girl is what he's saying, right? He says, "You don't think I'm loyal? All I do is rap. How can I moonlight on the side? I have no life outside of that. Don't I give you enough of my time? You don't think so, do you? Jealous when I spend time with the girls. Why am I married to you still?" Right? Meaning, yeah, I got a posse. All right. Yes, I work. I'm famous. There's girls that follow around. You know what I mean? Just be cool with it. Like, it's just like, so the song goes on and 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 on. It goes on. He's just complaining about the whole time until the very last line. And he just kicks you right in the nuts. And he's like, you weren't with me the whole time. You weren't paying attention. And the very last line is this. He says, "I guess I'm a mess, cursed and blessed, but this time I ain't changing my mind. I'm climbing out of this abyss. You're screaming as I walk out that I'll be missed. But when you spoke of people who meant the most to you, you left me off your list. F you, hip hop. I'm leaving you. My life sentence is served, bitch." And I'm like, whoa. And I was like, hold on. Wait. The first time I heard it, and we went back, I'm all, no. So then I went back through the whole song. Let's go back to the lyrics I just read you. By the way, if I read the whole thing, we'd be here for 30 minutes because it's so many words. And he says, "Don't think I'm loyal. All I do is rap." He's talking to hip hop.
Yeah.
Like, as in, what, am I not giving you enough? And he says, "I have no life outside of that." When he says, "You're jealous when I spend time with the girls," he's talking about his wife and daughter.
Yeah, wow.
You know what I mean? Well, you're jealous when I spend time with my family. Like, I can't, how much do I have to give to you? So the 25 to life is the prison sentence of what it is to be at that level of an artist. And the whole thing, like, you think he's complaining to his wife and his daughter, like, "I'm doing this for you." But at the end, he's like, no, I would never complain about that. I'm complaining to hip hop. You're taking everything from me. I want to be with my family. Yeah. You know, it's just like that. And that's Eminem.
That's good.
That's Eminem, dude.
It's
good. Like, it's so good.
I remember that. Yeah.
Oh, it's so powerful. And and what's funny is he says that last line and the song's over like 11 seconds later. Like, you got to stick around because he really flips it in that very last line. Oh, that's here it is. I remember this was the one time in the song, in the lyrics, where I was like, did I hear that right? Because I'm kind of confused because he's talking about his wife or whatever. He says, "Man, I don't know, but tonight I'm serving you with that's what it is. Tonight I'm serving you with papers. I'm divorcing you. Go marry someone else and make him famous." Okay. That I was like, what? Did he marry somebody who's famous? No, I know. Like, no. What? Yeah. Like, that's when I was confused. Yeah. Like, that doesn't make any sense. But my brain's like, oh, let it go. You
just move past it.
But then he's talking, no, I'm talking to hip hop. I'm serving you with papers. I'm divorcing you. Go marry someone else and make him famous. I'm done. You know what I mean? Like, it was so clever, man.
Yeah, but he wasn't actually done.
No, he wasn't, because he's too good to be done. Yeah. Come on. He wasn't.
But, so that's like, when that happens, you're like, oh, no, Eminem, don't stop.
Well, he does that a lot. Say goodbye to Hollywood. He does that a lot. But the thing is, I don't think he was done. I think he was quite literally, we're doing it on my command. We're doing what I want to do. If I want to make music, I'll do it. You know, and of course I don't know what the actual truth is, but I think that's what it was. He was basically saying, we're going to do it how I want to do it, or we're not doing it at all. I'm not going to jump at your every whim from this point on. I'm not doing it. That's what I think he was saying.
Yeah. All right. I'm going to flip the script a little bit here.
Do it.
Okay. So you remember when you were like in school and you pass notes and stuff and trying to like get girlfriends by like sweet talking them and stuff, and you maybe make a little poem or something. Mm-hmm. I was terrible at it. I was never good. I was never good at it. So looking back now, what I wish I had was a ghostwriter that I could just hire to write those like little love letters for me. And I know the perfect person. I know exactly who I would hire.
Who?
John Legend. That dude has the ability to write the best like love letter lyrics.
Would you at least, if you could have done that, would you at least tell them you didn't write it? I gotta know. Are you gonna play that off like it's yours, you fraud?
All right. No, that was all just a muse to get into John Legend's lyrics. As far as like, they're just like, I don't know how him and Chrissy Teigen, I don't know how they met and got together. But I imagine that she just like paid attention to some of his lyrics and then fell in love with him.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Because he's that good. So let me just find a little snippet of this. Okay. What song is this? All of You. All of You is one of the good ones. It's just really mushy. He says, "How many times do I have to tell you, even when you're crying, you're beautiful too? The world is beating you down. I'm around through every mood. You're my downfall. You're my muse, my worst distraction, my rhythm and blues. I can't stop singing. It's ringing in my head for you.
That's good.
Dude, the way he is with words, it's just like, how could you not melt? You know what I mean? If he came up on anyone, and like he come up on me, and I'd be like, oh. It's so good. That whole song. I mean, I'm not gonna sing the whole song or anything, but you know what it is. Like, love your curves and all your edges, all your perfect imperfections. Give your all to me, I'll give my all to you. It's just so like. It's one of those things. It's like I could see like that being like the first dance at a wedding for a lot of couples. Just, you know what I mean? Like that being their love song and stuff. Yeah, it's really good. I just wanted to get a little mushy after talking.
Yeah, that's good.
I figured, you know, after Eminem, we had to, you know, like talk about love songs.
We had an assignment when I was in high school. Was it high school or junior high? I don't remember. We had an assignment where we had to write poetry that was supposed to, and we had to read it in front of the class. And was supposed to be designed to draw an emotional charge, like pretty much inspire an emotional charge in everybody listening. I don't remember what I wrote, but I wrote something. It was specifically about like this girl I was crushing on at the time. This is, you know, a trillion years ago. And I don't remember what I wrote, but the last two lines were, it was like, the whole thing was about how she was this person who was just like, everything about her was very compelling. You know, I wrote it in a good fashion, but the last two lines were like something of, I don't remember what it was. The last two lines were, and as of from here on out, I'll stay distraught as my eyes seek yours, but yours do not. And that was me like yielding. Okay, I can't, it's not going to happen. Anyways, that's what I wrote. And it was something to that effect. And all the girls were all, oh, and this guy in the class is all, dude, you got to call that denied. It was so funny, dude. You gotta call that denied.
Oh my gosh. Way to break the moment.
No, it was what? But it got people to feel. You know what I mean? That's what it was. It got people to feel. All right. So I did 25 to life. Now I'm gonna do, so I have two more, but I'm going to do a more serious one before I do.
Good. Me too.
Before I do a light one. What?
All right. No, well, let's go your serious one to my serious one. Let's see who's more serious.
Yeah.
Let's see how many people we can get to cry today.
No, this is not that. This is a whole new level because it's Tool.
Okay.
So,
all right.
This one is, you know, when we were doing our pre-show, which by the way, it'd be worth talking about. I'm going to look at this camera. In the last podcast, we talked about this. We just started a new glimpse.me thing. And if you come and you just want to be a part of this community, we're doing this awesome thing to where we are doing a pre-show, live pre-show with everybody as we're setting up and answering questions and all that. So it's like kind of live stream type feel for it. It's over at glimpse.me/Imp And Skizz.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you want to go check that out, it's actually really, really cool. And it turns out it was our first one this morning. We were filming 2 podcasts today. So it's our 3 podcasts today. It was our first time trying this. So we ran into some technical difficulties, but what was a commonality is that it was just super fun.
Yeah.
It was super fun, right?
Yeah. It's like if you've ever wanted to have the experience of just being like a fly on the wall or no, more than a fly on the wall because
you're typing.
Yeah, we're talking back and forth.
You can be a fly if you want.
Yeah. We have chat up on the TV and we're setting up the podcast, dialing in the cameras and the lights and everything like that and getting ready to record. Meanwhile, just chatting about what we're going to talk about on the podcast and seeing what they think about that and kind of, you know, showing off our, you know, how we do things to get ready for the podcast. So it's basically like you're hanging out in the room with us as we're getting ready.
We're joking and it was fun.
It was so much fun.
But during that, somebody typed a message asking me, what's your favorite Tool song? And I'm like, oh boy, most people know Tool's my favorite band and has been for a quarter of a century. And I don't kind of like Tool. I love them. I can't pick a favorite, but there's so much, and it has to do with everything in their music. Obviously, Danny Carey, the drummer, is my favorite drummer in the world, and it goes on and on. But they have a song called Writin' To, and I've talked about this song before, but Maynard really goes after the weaknesses of mankind, and that's his gig. You know what I mean? And it's not a high and mighty thing. He admits he's part of it. He does. That's what Vicarious was about. You know, he does this all the time. I love the way Maynard writes. And in Writin' To, he's quite literally talking about like, boy, we have a lot of evolving to do is what it feels like to me. And so what he says is that the opening lines is, Angels on the sideline, right there. First thing he does is he goes to a divine place, angels on the sideline, and he uses the word sideline as in they're spectators. That right away we know that there's angels just watching. That's what he's talking about. Angels on the sideline, puzzled and amused. So right then and there, those two lines, you have angels who are spectators, they're watching us and they're going, what?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like right in two lines.
He paints a picture, like
right
like
in
piece
two
of art
lines, right?
there.
So angels on the sideline, puzzled and amused, and then now he becomes the angels. Why did Father give these humans free will? Now they're all confused. Like he's quite literally saying that the angels are like they don't know how to do this.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So angels on the sidelines, puzzled and amused. Why did Father give these humans free will? Now they're all confused. And it goes on and it says, don't these talking monkeys know that Eden has enough to go around? Plenty in this holy garden, silly monkeys. Where there's one, you're bound to divide it right in two. Meaning any time you guys find some kind of, like I'm watching and you're coming together. Look at this. All these people coming together. You're getting unity. And now there's a war. You're split. And now you have two factions. Okay, well, I guess maybe this faction's coming together and they're now you guys split. What's happening? Like any time that you guys are, that there's one, you cut it right in two. That's what he's saying, right? And so he goes on again. It says again, angels on the sideline, baffled and confused. Father bless them all with reason. And this is what they choose? Like, this is what he's saying again. He's like, he actually gave them the ability to logic things through, to reason things out. And then you did this? You came up with the quickest way to kill somebody? Like, what are you doing? Like, it's very, very fascinating to me. And he goes on, he talks more about it. He says, monkey killing monkey over pieces of the ground. Silly monkeys, give them thumbs, they forge a blade, and where there's one, they're bound to divide it right in two. And it's like, this is like, he personified angels, and to a point to where he gave them human characteristics in regards to they themselves were scratching their heads going, what are they doing?
Yeah.
You know, and that's what Right in Two is. And that's why I love Tool so much, is because their songs are like a web. Every song is loosely connected to another song, to the point where he has certain songs that start off with a certain story and it finishes in another song that's in a different band he's in, right? Like he's done this before. Yeah. He's had crossover from Tool to A Perfect Circle. And so here you have this. There's a whole song called Schism that's quite literally about, like, schism is when a religion splits into two, or splits off into a different one, like another denomination, I think it's called. That schism is exactly that. You know what I mean? Like that's so here he's talking on kind of a higher level, a more divine level, and then schisms quite literally. He's like the leading lyrics in Schism is, I know the pieces fit. He's talking about all the different religions. If you keep rewinding the clock, it all goes back. Yeah. I know that it's just a bunch of puzzle pieces that come together for the same purpose. This is kind of what he's saying. So this one just is, I just love it,
man. You gotta. I don't know if people don't like Tool. What? Dude, when it goes, I don't know if everybody knows the story, but Tool for the longest time, they did not want their music on like Spotify.
They didn't want it digital.
Yeah, they didn't want it digital at all. And the reason why Maynard at least gave his reason why that was is because he viewed the albums as a work of art that needed to be listened to from start to finish, because you were talking about the way things stitched together. The albums that were designed to be an entire like soundtrack, basically, that has to be listened to from the very first second to the very last second, and not split into chunks and rearranged in any sort of way. Yeah. So now I still think of that, like, because I do listen to them. They are on Spotify now, you know. And I do listen to him, but if I listen to Tool, I try to do it like he wants us to do it. I try to pull up the whole album and listen to it start to finish. I don't let it shuffle. I don't pick just the popular songs or one by one. I listen to the whole album from start to finish, because that's the way he wanted us to experience it. That's the way it's intended to be done.
Yeah. It's to the point to where the ends of many songs are literally the intros to the next. Yeah. And that's why sometimes when you try to go play the digital, because they are digital now, and if you try to go play, or even back in the day, if you had a CD and you chose a song, next track, you're going to hear the tail end of the previous one. And one of the most famous ones is, if you go into 46 and 2, the opening lick is, boom, boom, but a tenth of a second before that, it goes, because it goes, so anybody who doesn't know what I'm talking about, put on 46 and 2, and you're going to hear, so why that? And the reason is because the track before that is like 47 seconds of just, and you're like, what is this? They do a lot of that, but it's all intentional. And it took me years and years and years before I finally came up with my own theory as to what I think that is. I saw a video that explained 46 and 2 on an extremely, extremely clever level. That he's quite literally talking about. It's like a chromosome thing in regards to what it's going to take for mankind to evolve into what's next for us, right? And it's a chromosome. 46 2 is a chromosome count. I think 46 and 0 is like Aborigines, and 46 and 1 is where we are now, and 46 and 2 is the next step. Do not quote me on any of that. I don't know. I don't know, but I'm pretty sure that's the case. But the bottom line is this. The whole song is about chasing like your id or your ego or something like that, finding out who you really are. And the shadow of you is deep beneath the surface. So what we're all seeing all the time is just the surface us, right? Just the skin of us. So that's all we're seeing. We're inside, there's the shadow, the real you, right? That's why he's saying, I feel the shadow stretching up and over me, that consuming me. If you can move even past the shadow, you're getting down to your id. You're getting down to understanding a part of yourself that you've never been introduced to. Right now, for the record, I'm kind of butchering this, but this is the gist of it. The thing is, if you watch this video, that graphic that's used to explain this, it looks like a record. So the center's the id, then the shadow's out of that, and then it goes on and on out to the ego and all that, and then there's the surface level. Well, it looks like a record. Well, anybody who doesn't understand or recall old vinyls, when the record finished and that needle was on the outside, it was just doing that, and that was, I think, his way of saying that we're just circling on the outside. We're just staying on the surface, and then it goes right into 46 and 2. Dude, I listened to that song thousands of times over 20 years, and when it hit me like that realization, it hit me like a truck. And I wasn't going to happen unless I had seen this other video where somebody did a great job explaining what 46 and 2 is about. I mean, a really good job. And once I saw that, I'm like, that's why that first track is that record. Like that's who Tool is. So people ask me, why is Tool your favorite band? I'm like, well, how much time do you have? You know what I mean? Because they're not just a band. You know what I mean? It is just I could go on and on. We could do a Tool podcast.
Yeah, because
talk about this too.
We went into 46 and 2, and that's not even what we.
No, it's not. Yeah, no, we were talking. Yeah, sorry.
So
see,
we went there anyway.
This is why I don't listen to Tool while I'm driving, because I'll drive right off the road.
Right. How did I end up in California? Why am I in the ocean?
Yeah.
You're just still going. Oh man. Okay. Well. Okay. When you said like heavy, I was thinking differently, like more of a sadness to the lyrics. So I guess I got a different. In fact, the song I wanted to talk about is actually titled "Heavy" by Linkin Park.
Oh, good one.
Yeah. And unfortunately, the timing of the whole thing, we all know the lead singer committed suicide, right?
Yeah.
So, so then when that happened, and it was kind of like known, that happened, and then you hear this song come out, knowing that, and knowing his struggles that he went through, obviously, that led to him taking his own life. These lyrics hit hard, like really hard. Now listen to this. Here's the lyrics. I don't like my mind right now, stacking up problems that are so unnecessary. Wish that I could slow things down. I want to let go, but there's comfort in the panic. And I drive myself crazy, thinking everything's about me. Yeah, I drive myself crazy because I can't escape the gravity. Ugh. Now, how much harder did those hit now knowing the state of mind he was in when he wrote those? And that's what I think every time I hear this song. This song is so beautiful. It is such a beautiful song. But then when you like look at the lyrics and you're like, the writing's right there. What he was going through, he wrote on paper and sang for people to hear.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, so devastating that he didn't get the help that he needed,
It was like a cry for help in his own lyrics.
Yes. Exactly. Sorry if I ruined that song for anybody.
Well, you ruined my day.
That's what I was talking about. I was like, I picked that song because I remember like just listening to it. And like I said, I don't typically listen to lyrics when I listen to songs. And I'm just like, it gets to the chorus, I'm holding on, and it's just like, man, it's such a beautiful song. And I finally like dug into the lyrics. I'm like, whoa.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of struggles in here that I think people can relate to. Mm-hmm. Stacking up problems that are so unnecessary. I do that constantly. You know what I mean? Like, sometimes I fight battles in my mind that are never going to actually happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then stressing over things that aren't even about me. And it's just like, dang, man, he laid it out there for everybody to see and put his heart into it and where he was at mentally.
That's brutal.
Yeah,
man.
it was a brutal one. It was a brutal one, but it's such a beautiful song. And I love Linkin Park. I've always liked Linkin Park so much. So obviously, you know, that situation devastated me when that happened. But anyway, that was it. Sorry, I've been such a downer.
Yeah.
Debbie Downer over here.
Podcast over. Bye. All right, so I got one more. That was a joke. One more, and this is gonna lighten it up.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
Yeah.
Good. I was gonna do that too. We're on the same. We're marching down the same road here.
Yeah.
We're trying to figure out how to bring it down, then bring it back up. My next one's gonna do that too.
Okay. So here's the deal. Okay. This is like, I'm not a real country fan. I don't listen to a lot of country, and there's nothing wrong with it. I don't gravitate towards country, but every once in a while, the song just gets me, and more often than not, unless it's Garth Brooks, which I love almost everything he did. More often than not, it's the lyrics, because I will give that to country. They have a lot of really, really good.
Yeah,
lyrics.
I mean they're more known to be telling stories.
Correct, 100%
through their songs.
They can get you to connect, right? And so this is from Trisha Yearwood, and I've talked about this. This is called "She's in Love with the Boy." I just like this one because it's such a take that. You know what I mean? It's like such a but like take that as in. It's kind of a dishing it to somebody, but the somebody you're dishing it to, you're also dishing. You're like, this is how awesome you are. You know what I mean? But take that. So the whole premise is basically a young boy is courting a girl. They're probably, if I had to guess, they're probably like late teens, right? Maybe 17, 18, 19, maybe early 20s. I don't know. And the dad does not, you know, the dad of the daughter is just not, this guy's an idiot. You know what I mean? That's his whole thing, right?
Yeah.
So his line that he says, her daddy says he ain't worth a lick. When it comes to brains, he got the short end of the stick. Okay. But Katie's young, and man, she just don't care. She'll follow Tommy anywhere. Tommy's the boy, Katie's the daughter, right? So what's happening is the dad's like, this kid's an idiot. You know what I mean? And so, but the mom's like, would you just chill out? Just let them do their thing, right? And it goes on, another rhyme of them hanging out. And this guy's an idiot. He's got no brains. And the song ends with the mom saying to the dad, my daddy said you wasn't worth a lick. When it came to brains, you got the short end of the stick. But he was wrong, and honey, you are too. Katie looks at Tommy the way I still look at you. That line, I got goosebumps underneath my sweater. I remember the first time I heard it, I'm like, oh my gosh, she found a way to tell him, would you shut up, and remind him like you're I love you. Like, you're awesome. Just let this be. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
There's a degree of, I mean, if it's a real troublemaker, but it's acting like I think about it all the time, like who I was when I was younger.
Yeah.
God, I was so stupid. I was so stupid.
And what did your wife's parents think of you then?
Oh God. Yeah. I don't know how they didn't just say, get away from my daughter, which is what was likely what I would have done. You know what I mean?
But now?
Now they like me.
Now they like you.
Yeah.
Yeah, you've matured a little bit.
Oh, a little bit.
Just a little bit.
Yeah,
Not much.
Not all the way. Not all the way.
Oh, man. All right. Well, I don't care to admit this too much, but I actually, you know me, I'm like really cognizant of how much time I spend on things. Like I try to like really be efficient with my time, but I actually have one thing that I've like wasted a lot of time on, and I don't like to talk about it or admit it too much, but I've spent countless hours trying to figure out what exactly is going on in the body shop. Yeah. Sam Smith and Kim Petras, like, they've ruined my life.
What are you talking
about? I really, really need to know what the heck is going on in the body shop.
What are you talking about?
It's just like they won't say it. All right, here it is. Mommy don't know daddy's getting hot at the body shop doing something unholy. He sat back while she's dropping it. She be popping it. Yeah, she put it down slowly.
I think you're saying really like explicit stuff right now. Like I do. I think I might have to cut this out. I don't know. I think because I'm with you. I don't understand it, but I think like you read it as in I don't understand these lyrics, and I think that to the people that do understand it, they're like, he doesn't know what he's saying right now. That's what
They're getting it on in the body shop. They're getting it on in the body shop.
Yeah, but like I don't know that I don't think I what song is this?
It's Unholy.
And who's it by?
Sam Smith and Kim Petras. That was the joke.
I know, I understand it, but I don't get it.
Obviously, they're doing naughty stuff in the body shop, Skizz.
Okay, so you did know the whole time what they were doing. Okay, very good.
And I think it's fine.
Of course it is. Okay, very well. Here's the deal, though. But quite okay. That's fine. I'm with you. Okay, we're good. But I was like, but I don't know what kind of picture was just painted other than just two people getting together and more of like a, whoa, that got really, really direct, but not direct unless you understand.
Dropping it and popping it.
You stop saying it.
That's not PG enough for you. You can drop an F-bomb on the podcast, but I can't say dropping it and popping it.
I bleeped it out. I can't just have a big old like broadcaster. This is a test.
Oh, seriously though. The Body Shop. You know what? Actually, it's a really good song if you listen to it.
I feel like I'm trying to conjure up the melody. But
Mommy don't know Daddy's getting hot.
I love that.
At the Body Shop. Doing something unholy. Yeah, it's a good song, dude. It's a really good song.
I'll admit, I've never actually listened to those lyrics.
Yeah.
But the song I love.
It's funny, though. Like, yeah, they start talking about the dirty stuff going on at the body shop, and you're just like,
wow.
All right, what body shop? Interesting.
Okay, we have another podcast to record, but we're gonna put that on after this. I want to hear it now.
Yeah,
I've never paid attention to those lyrics.
Yeah,
but I love that melody. Like the song itself. The melody and the beat's amazing. Yes, the song itself is awesome. Wow, interesting. All right, we lost our center camera, so you take us out.
All right.
No, I'll do it. No, you go ahead.
I'll look at.
No, wait, hold on.
I'll look right at the
you
center of the camera. You just did a thing in the cut where you cut to you, then you cut to me, then you cut to you.
You don't know. Maybe I did it the opposite,
exactly,
so it's super confusing.
How you work.
He doesn't know anything. He thinks the camera's on me right now. It's actually on him. You're watching him giggle. There you go.
I'm gonna deadpan the rest. No, another fun one. Yeah, I knew that you were gonna dig into the lyrics and like really get nuanced with it. But I had fun anyway.
Oh yeah, of course, dude.
I had fun anyway. I like thinking about these kind of things, you know, like actually like you forcing your brain to go there and see what the artist was actually like trying to get across, you know, as opposed to just being that like casual listener that's just there for the pop melody that's going to make you feel a certain way. Like I said, I think we can do a full podcast on the power of music instead of just lyric analysis.
Yes,
you know what I mean?
Yes.
Like I caught that early, and maybe I didn't quite know that's how you wanted to keep it. But yeah, as far as like the emotions and where music can take you on an emotional journey and drum up memories and things like that. Like, I think that could be a real fun one as well. So maybe we'll put that in the bank. But yeah, it was a fun one. So thanks everybody for joining once again, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.